Dawn drifts over the ruins of Pompeii, quiet, silver, almost kind. Between the stones, a woman still cradles her child, their shapes molded by ash. They say time never stops, but here, it bowed down and stayed. The wind hums through hollow rooms. A loaf of bread lies on a table, burned but whole. A handprint darkens the wall, fingers stretched as if reaching for air. Someone tried to live one more second and was remembered instead. Steps echo in dust. A boy's sandal rests by a doorway, too small for the footprint beside it. Maybe he thought the mountain was only breathing, not warning. Everywhere, life remains mid-motion spoons, jewelry, laughter carved in silence. It wasn't death that froze them. It was love, caught off guard. And above it all, Vesuvius sleeps in pale clouds, calm, patient, watching. They prayed to it once, believing peace meant safety. No one ever knows when history begins, only when it's already too late. Morning light drips down marble walls. The city hums like a heartbeat, vendors shouting, dogs barking, children chasing each other through narrow streets. Every town sounds the same when it still believes in tomorrow. A baker slides fresh loaves from his oven, smiling as steam fills the air. He waves to the woman next door hanging laundry. Smells like heaven today, she jokes. He laughs, not knowing how right she is. In the market, gold glints off olives and copper bowls. A boy steals a fig. The merchant pretends not to notice. The world still feels safe when kindness is small and ordinary. At the bathhouse, men argue about politics and the rising heat. A young soldier listens, more interested in the girl carrying water. Love, not duty, ruled most hearts that morning. On a balcony, a poet reads to his friends. His words echo softly between stone walls, brushing the air like a lullaby. No one ever imagines their last words will be heard forever. Beyond the city, farmers trim grapevines under golden sun. Sweat, laughter, the smell of soil, everything steady, rhythmic, alive. Even time seemed content to linger here. As dusk approaches, lanterns bloom along the streets. Music from a tavern drifts into open windows, mingling with the scent of bread. It was an ordinary night, the kind history never bothers to warn. And somewhere above them, in the distance, the mountain exhales, just once. Soft, unnoticed. Peace can be cruel that way, always calmest before it turns to memory. Morning again, but colder. The birds that once sang above the rooftops are gone. A woman looks up from her garden, sensing the quiet. Strange, she whispers. The air tastes like metal. At the market, the chatter falters. A small tremor ripples through a bowl of fruit. Olives roll onto the ground. People laugh it off, nervous, pretending it's nothing. Every tragedy begins with someone saying, "It's fine." A fisherman pauses mid-row, watching the mountain's crown shimmer with heat. Smoke curls upward, thin, graceful. He tells himself, it's just the sun, what else could it be? Children draw in dust, but their chalk lines shift. The earth sighs beneath them, a low breath too deep to belong to wind. A few dogs bark, then stop, staring at something unseen. Inside the bathhouse, water trembles. Ripples shimmer against marble walls. One man stands, towel half-wrapped, listening to nothing. The silence hums alive, waiting. A wine jar cracks on a shelf. A merchant stares at it, unsure if it was his hand or the world that moved. Denial is always louder than fear. The poet stops midline, his cup rattles. He looks at the ink trembling inside his bowl like a heartbeat. "Did you feel that?" he asks. Nobody answers. Out on the streets, clouds gather, not gray, but brown. Heavy. A faint thunder rumbles from inside the earth. It doesn't sound like a storm. It sounds like something waking up. And as dusk falls, the air turns thick, almost too warm to breathe. Children run home laughing, unaware they're outrunning history. The mountain exhales again, this time longer. It begins with light, brighter than fire, sharper than thought. A white flash tears through the morning sky, so blinding that shadows vanish, so silent that hearts forget to beat. For a breath, the world holds still, and then comes the sound. Not thunder. Something older, deeper, a growl from the bones of the earth. The mountain opens. A roar like 1,000 storms shatters the sky. A tower of smoke and flame rises miles high, curling into itself, black and red, rolling like an ocean turned inside out. Stones, burning, shrieking, rain from above, striking rooftops, cracking skulls, scattering sparks across the cobbled streets. The day that began with laughter ends in the color of fear. People run in every direction, to temples, to boats, to nowhere. Mothers clutch children, men drag the old. Prayers spill faster than breath. A soldier tries to shout orders, but the air swallows his voice. The sky has found its own language, and it's screaming. Down by the harbor, the sea retreats, hissing as it goes. Ships creak and tip, left stranded on the blackened sand. Fishermen stare, too afraid to move, watching the horizon darken like an eye closing. They think it's over. It has only begun. Inside the city, ceilings collapse in waves of dust and stone. A baker shields his daughter as heat floods the street, a brightness that erases everything. Their bodies will remain together for centuries, love carved into ash. A poet runs with his scrolls, pages glowing, words dissolving midair. He reaches for one, and his fingertips ignite. Words always survive, but not the hands that write them. At the bathhouse, steam thickens into smoke. Men stumble through boiling pools, blinded, slipping on marble now blackened and slick. They grope for the door, but the door no longer exists. Horses scream in the stables, kicking through flames. Bronze bells melt, their last toll echoing through falling stone. The ground shakes again, the sky answers. The air itself turns solid with ash, a storm of fire and suffocation. Every sound merges into one, a single, endless breath of destruction. A woman kneels beneath an archway, clutching her necklace as if prayer could anchor time. "We'll wake tomorrow," she whispers. The roof collapses before her voice reaches heaven. By dusk, there is no dusk, only red. The city glows like a dying sun. Ash falls in silence, soft as snow, covering everything that once had a name. Above it all, Vesuvius exhales again, vast, patient, almost merciful. The wind turns gray, carrying the last whispers of Pompeii into the sea. In less than 20 minutes, an entire civilization disappears, not destroyed, only paused. A heartbeat trapped forever between life and legend. The fire ends the way all storms do, quietly. No roar, no scream. Only wind brushing through ruins, still breathing with heat. The air trembles with what remains of voices, echoes that refuse to fade. When sound dies, memory begins. Ash drifts endlessly, settling on rooftops, statues, bones. It covers everything, soft and merciless, like snow made of sorrow. Houses sink beneath it, slow and graceful, as though laying themselves to rest. The streets have vanished, replaced by outlines of lives caught mid-motion. A man shielding a child, a woman running, hands outstretched. They did not fall. They simply stopped being seen. By a doorway, a dog lies curled in eternal sleep, its chain half buried in dust. In another house, two lovers are frozen in embrace, faces turned toward what once was sunlight. Even in ruin, their closeness glows, proof that love can survive what breath cannot. A cup stands upright on a table, untouched. Someone meant to return to it. No one ever did. The silence that follows is thick, not peace, but weight, as if the world itself is mourning what it made. Smoke drifts past the mountain's black outline, coiling upward like memory escaping. Far beyond the shore, the sea still glows faintly red, reflecting fire that has already died. The fishermen never came back, yet their nets remain tangled in stone, swaying gently in the tide's slow return. The line between life and memory is thinner than ash itself. As night falls, Pompeii exhales once, then disappears beneath her own dust. The tragedy is not that they died, it's that they were so heartbreakingly alive, just moments before forever stopped. Centuries passed, and the earth opened once more, not in fury, but in remembrance. Beneath layers of ash and silence, archaeologists bent close to the ground, their brushes trembling slightly as they swept away time itself, grain by grain. What they uncovered wasn't just stone or ruin, it was breath, frozen mid-motion. A woman shielding her child, a man reaching out for someone just beyond reach. Expressions caught between fear and love, preserved as if time itself had chosen mercy for a heartbeat. They didn't find a city destroyed, they found a moment paused. Every curve of a hand, every wrinkle of a brow whispered the same truth: we were here. The tragedy of Pompeii wasn't that it vanished, but that it endured so completely, that its silence still speaks louder than any words. Now, centuries later, footsteps echo softly through the ancient streets. Tour guides lower their voices as though afraid to disturb the dreams of the dead. Children clutch their parents' hands, Eyes wide not with fear but with reverence. Between plaster shadows, the air feels heavy, as if memory itself lingers in the dust. Inside the museum, glass cases cradle fragments of lives once whole, a silver cup beside a simple ring, labeled found near the bakery, 79 AD. Yet to stand before them is to feel something alive, the warmth of human touch that refuses to fade. Objects don't survive time, emotions do. As the day wanes, the mountain that once ended everything glows under a quiet sunset, its slopes bathed in gold. Tourists lift their phones for one last photo, then lower them, caught in a silence they can't name. The wind hums softly, carrying a language older than words, the sound of loss and of remembrance. Somewhere beneath the dust, a mother still cradles her child. Two lovers still turn toward each other. They are not ghosts, but witnesses, proof that love outlives even fire. And when the camera pulls back, the bay shimmers beneath the dying light. Pompeii doesn't end, it exhales, one long, eternal breath that never quite fades. Fade to black. A final violin note trembles, then silence, the kind that doesn't end but waits.